not saying you're going to do it, but I'm saying they got away with this for 3 consecutive presidents, and nothing has ever been done. Now, my question is this. When you get into office, should you get into office, is there any reason in the world why that cannot be taken care of before the 8-year system comes into play? That the government should pay back all money that they stole. Thank you very much.
Yeah, listen, what the government has to be obligated to do is to pay the money back that they borrowed, right? And make sure that the recipients are made whole for what they received, what they were entitled to receive. Now, Social Security folks are getting paid right now, as you know. They're getting paid. They're getting their check. They're getting their wire transfer every month, and that's going to continue. What I'm saying is 7, 8 years from now, we could wind up being in a really bad condition on that. So we've got to make some changes to be able to meet the future obligations, because, as you know, the baby boomers are all coming of age now, of retirement age. The largest group of folks who are going to become seniors are coming of age now. And so we need to make sure that we deal with this and deal with it responsibly, because the people who spent a lot of time building this country, like you, who defended the country and helped to build the country after the Second World War, are now owed their retirement that they worked hard and paid for. And that's why I'm talking about this issue. You don't hear other candidates talking about this issue. That's why I'm talking about it, because I know how upset and angry you are about it, and you're just a representative of millions of Americans who are upset and angry about it. So let's talk about it. Let's make sure we deal with it in a responsible way, because just not talking about it, how many times did your parents tell you this, right? You can't ignore a problem and hope it'll go away. That's not a plan, that's a prayer, but not a plan. We need to have more than a prayer, we need to have a plan. And that's why I put forward the things I did. And let me also say thank you for your service on behalf of our country. That's everyone right there for the last question. You got a microphone. They got a microphone for you right there.
Thank you, Governor Christie.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. We're talking some today about foreign policy. July 4th this year, when the great leader of Russia had some of his pilots come over and basically do some unnecessary gestures to the people in California, the pilots in the air, let's say. How do you, as a leader of the United States, how would you combat that from basically Vladimir Putin taunting himself, and the same thing he's been doing, taunting himself in Crimea, and the current administration stands back and hands off? Yeah, so I'd like to hear you.
Well, this started with Hillary Clinton. Thank you, sir. This started with Hillary Clinton and the reset button, right?
Right.
On her face, right? Hit that reset button with the Russians. What did we get? What we got was an emboldened, taunting Russian dictator in return for us hitting the reset button with Russia. So first off, you got to wonder about her, right? Wonder about that gentleman, right? So listen, I'm not going to be a guy who's going to sit across from Vladimir Putin when I'm president, pound the table, and yell and scream. Doesn't make any sense. Vladimir Putin's not a dumb man. He can get to be the leader of Russia by being stupid. So I assume he will understand that when I sit across from the table at him and I look at him and say, listen, we got to get back on the right track here. Don't test me. Please. It's not going to be good for the Russian people. It's not going to be good for the American people. You care about your people. You care about their safety, their security, their economic future. Let's work together. But I have limits to my patience. And I understand that President Putin needs to do certain showing off because, oil's down at like 40, 45 bucks a barrel, and the economy is what it should be over in Russia, and he wants to stay in power. I understand all that. But he needs to hear a candid conversation from a president of the United States who he knows means what he says and says what he means. And right now, the biggest problem is he doesn't believe Barack Obama. I forget about whether he's afraid of Barack Obama or intimidated. That's not the issue. I don't want Vladimir Putin to be afraid of me. I don't want Vladimir Putin to be intimidated by me. I just want him to believe me. That when I look him in the eye and I say, Mr. President, no further. Stop now. Okay? I mean it. I want him to look in my eye and say, okay, I know he means it, He'll make whatever decision he's gonna make. But he'll know I mean it. Right now, when Barack Obama says, I'm gonna draw a red line in Syria, and nothing happened, when he says, we're gonna deal with the situation in Libya, and it doesn't happen, when he says we're gonna destroy and degrade ISIS, and then he says, well, honestly, we don't have a plan for ISIS, right? By the way, we're not the only people who read the newspapers. So does Vladimir Putin. He looks at this circus and he says, come on. This is the moment. This is my moment to take advantage. He is taking advantage of a weak American moment led by a weak American president. The same way, by the way, the Soviets took advantage in Afghanistan when they had a weak American president in Jimmy Carter. The same way the Iranians took advantage in 1979 when we had a weak American president in Jimmy Carter. This guy is more like Jimmy Carter than any of us would ever have wanted to believe. And we're seeing different people on the world stage do exactly the same thing that their predecessors did 36 years ago. When did it change? When Ronald Reagan came into office and he looked across at these folks and said, not now. Right? Not now. Ronald Reagan didn't start a war in this country. Ronald Reagan didn't start a war in this country. He didn't have to go around. Remember all the stuff they said? Because I remember Reagan was my first vote. I turned 18 in September of 1980, and I got to vote that November for Ronald Reagan. And you remember that campaign, right? He was the crazy cowboy movie actor who was going to put the world into nuclear war, right? You can't trust that crazy actor with his finger on the button. I remember all this stuff that they were saying, that the media was saying about him at the time. He turned out to be a president who contributed more to peace than any president in my lifetime. And he did it